And welcome in, everybody, to the Chris Hatcher Show. I'm Brad Radice, alongside the head coach of the Samford Bulldogs, Chris Hatcher. And everybody, the season is here. Finally, the wait is gone. We're going to see some Samford football here later this week, Thursday night, against West Georgia. And Coach, you've been doing this 25-plus seasons. Does it ever get old, the jitters, as you enter a new college football season?
Brad, it really doesn't. And first of all, Ben, appreciate you doing the show. I'm excited about being able to do this all year long. I believe we have a really good team, and we hopefully each week we'll have a lot of positive things to say. But this is year 26 as a head football coach, and you get this close to the ball game, you start second-guessing yourself, and you go over the game plan 900 more times. Is this going to work? Nothing changes. Yeah. And whenever it starts to change, then I know it's time to hang up my whistle.
You mentioned 26-plus seasons, or 26 seasons. How has the offseason changed now in the dynamic of kind of that new college football world?
The biggest thing is year to year, your roster management is so much more difficult with the transfer portal, bringing guys in and guys leaving your team. So that's the hardest thing to really manage. And I think if you ask any coach, that's the biggest challenge now in college football, is roster management and the turnover. The biggest thing in the offseason is you can have some OTAs in the summer. So when you get to fall camp, you feel like you've done practice 2 months. And, back when I first started, players would report one day, you would get physicals, you would have to have your team meetings, you'd have to have your install meetings, and the very next morning, you have to go to practice. And it's not like that anymore. So some things are better, some things may be not so much better, but if you don't adjust, you can't be successful in this day and era of college football.
Well, let's talk about these 2025 Bulldogs. You've had them for a spring practice, you mentioned the summer workouts, and now fall camp leading into this game. Tell us about them. What do you like about this team?
It's a really hard-working group, and they're a cohesive group. They really get along with each other extremely well. Again, talking about roster turnover, you really don't know what you have till you go play.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest key in coaching is you got to find out who you are as quick as possible to get some momentum going early in the year. But we did have a good spring practice. We had a lot of transfers who came in, participated in that. We added a few more transfers, and then our freshman class came in. So you had another period to get those guys up to speed. And then as practice went on during camp, I could just really tell our guys started knowing what to do. They started knowing one another, and hopefully we were peaking at the right time, and I think we are.
As a head coach, are you ever pleased during camp, and have you been pleased with this group?
Yeah, if you choose to have fun, and this game is very hard. I mean, it's a hard game to play, or everybody would play it. There's a lot of long hours in there, but I have been pleased. And, of course, some days I'm a little discouraged, maybe because we didn't perform to the expectations that I have for the team. But the standard always is high for our players. I always like to tell our team, I'd rather be clotheslined by a high bar than trip over a low bar. But this has been a good, fun group to coach, and I hope that we're successful because these guys have paid the price during camp.
Let's talk about one big off-season acquisition for you guys. Scott Sloan, your new defensive coordinator, another guy with 30-plus years experience. He knows the game of football, comes to us from Appalachian State, has had stints at Army. He's been just about everywhere. What led you to hiring him?
We've been acquaintances for a long time. I say it that way. We've known each other, and but our paths just every now and then would cross, and it was kind of ironic. I'd called him earlier, about I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks prior to him taking the job here, and for a recommendation on Coach Kyle King, our linebacker coach, who had worked with him at Georgia Southern. And then we got to talk, hey, what are you going to do? I may sit out, or I may go be an analyst somewhere. And then, our defensive coordinator left right there before spring practice to go be the corners coach at Troy University. And, that night I'm thinking, man, we got spring ball coming up. What am I going to do? I'm at the house complaining to my wife, if you will. And the phone rings, and it's Scott Sloan. And I was like, man, this is my guy. And we made a deal. We talked that night for about 30 minutes and made a deal the next morning, and he was here by the weekend, and we started spring practice.
And with Coach Sloan and the vast experience he's had, is this something that you can count on him handling the defense, and you can focus on other areas more?
Absolutely. When I hire a defensive coordinator, I always tell them, you're the head coach of the defense.
Right.
Because, I want you to handle that, take care of all the issues, any problems that arise. Of course, I'm there to assist you in any way that I can to give you the tools you need to be successful. But his experience, he's an easygoing guy. He's been around a lot of different head coaches.
Yes.
And a lot of times he just rolls with the punches.
Yep.
We're doing scheduling and things of that nature. But on the field, he's an excellent teacher.
Yeah.
But more importantly, and then I told him this when I hired him, that, we have some really good men on defense already on the staff. And it's been amazing how his personality and theirs have really gelled. And boy, it was a seamless transition.
Yeah. And Coach Sloan's defenses are known for causing turnovers, particularly on the back end. What have you liked about the defense in camp so far?
Well, we're very multiple in the different things that we could show an offensive group. In my mind, it looks to be a simple defense that to install. And the biggest thing that I've complimented him on is just how fast our guys play. It doesn't look like we're over there thinking.
Yeah.
We're getting after it, and we're going to be an attacking style when we need to. We're going to sit back when we need to.
Yeah.
But we do need to force some turnovers because that's the name of the game.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about something that you're used to, the hatch attack, the offense. Starts with your quarterback, Quincy Crittenden. He's back. He seems like he's been here forever. He's had a lot of big games here. He's been in big moments. Have you seen him take a step in the offseason?
I have. He came on late in the latter part of the season. He really started running the ball more forcefully. I think early in the year, it was more, hey, let me get down when I can and take the hit. And then towards the latter part of the season, he really became a tremendous runner, almost another running back in the back end. We're about to have him continue to be the dual threat that he's capable of being. Last year was one of probably the least productive offensive units that we put on the field here at Samford.
Sure.
And maybe even in my career, we just really never found our identity. So this year, hopefully we'll find it game one. But he's the only guy we got coming back with any game experience on the offensive side of the ball. So, but again, quarterback position is a little different.
Yeah.
He's got to have all them other guys play well for him to be successful too.
And you mentioned his running ability. He did have 200-plus yards against Western Carolina one game last year. What does that do for your offense? And does it make it just more diverse, more dynamic?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anytime a defense has to prepare, just try to stop the 11th guy if he's running the ball, poses a lot of problems to defensive groups because you can add an extra blocker there. But that is always the key. You got to be careful not to run too much, and are you running him enough? Things of that nature. So we'll fill that out early in the year. But again, I've told him he's got to be a forceful runner like he was in the latter part of the season for our offense to be able to move the chains.
We've talked about Quincy, the quarterback. Tell me what else on this offense that excites you heading into this season.
Really like our offensive line. We're going to have all new starters up there, but they're an athletic group. I think each day they've gotten better. That's what excites me about them. At the wideout group, we have some guys out there that can make plays. Running back, I think you got number 0, C.J. Evans. He's had a tremendous camp for us, and he's a dynamic player. So we got to make sure that we get him involved and get him plenty of touches. And then I think the one thing that the fans are going to really like is we have a lot of freshmen at the skill positions that I'm excited about. Corey Ward will be our backup Z. Nick Bookman's a true freshman will be our backup Y. Sam Pickett, true freshman, will be our backup X. And Cam Bland will be in the running back rotation, but they're all dynamic players. And I tell you what, they excite me, not only for this year, but for years to come.
All right, let's talk about West Georgia, the big game Thursday night at Bobby Bowden Field at Pete Hanna Stadium. West Georgia got us last year. They bring their quarterback back, but I also saw they have a bunch of new transfer in athletes. How hard does that make it preparing?
The first game's always difficult because you have all the film from the previous.
Sure.
You want to break down every piece of it. And the biggest key is just not overcomplicate things. Do what you do well and do them fast. And that's our mindset heading into the first game. They do have a new defensive coordinator. They have a new offensive coordinator. I think their schemes will be fairly similar, but everybody has their own twist. Their quarterback is really good. He's a runner, too. He's a shifty guy, can throw it. They got a transfer from Georgia Southern who's an extremely lethal return man in the kicking game. And then defensively, the head coach there was the defensive coordinator for Mercer for all those years. So we know each other well.
Right.
And every time I've ever played him, he always has a stout defense. So, again, we're expected a huge battle. And, of course, last year we went over and stubbed our toe.
Sure.
They forced couple turnovers on our end. We gave up a couple big plays and just didn't play well.
Yeah.
And that kind of set us back for the rest of the season. So it's very imperative that we come out, we play well this game one to kind of set the tone for the remaining part of the season.
Is there anything we should be on the lookout early that might suggest that this is going to be a good game for the Bulldogs? Or is it, you got to wait till the lights are on and see how the players play?
Well, you do. And I think early on in the season, you have some in your mind, you have some different adjustment plans.
Yeah.
You're thinking some plays are going to be really good plays, and you're thinking some guys are going to play really well.
Yeah.
And then you go out game one, and maybe they don't perform as well as you thought. But on the other side, maybe they play exactly like you think they're capable of playing. So, I that's a hard one to answer, Brad.
Yeah.
Let's talk week 2.
Sure.
I better give you a little better answer on that one.
100%. Well, it's Samford hosting West Georgia Thursday night right here on campus at 6:30 at Pete Hanna Stadium. And, Coach, I would imagine there ain't nothing like being a Samford Bulldog on a Thursday night after a big win.
I'm all in.
All right, folks. You've been watching The Chris Hatcher Show. We'll see you next time right here from Samford University.